Well, I sort of started with a blank slate with Dahmer. I only had the image of the hazmat suits and the blue vat coming out of the building, which I didn't even know was an apartment complex. I found out later that it was the Oxford apartments where he committed most of his acts. Ryan sent me the scripts and then called and said, you know, Dahmer is interesting in that he is almost regretful and has guilt and sort of confusion about what went on. He's doesn't really have the charming, mischievous smile. He's a docile, sort of aloof and almost disassociated from what he did. I immediately went to YouTube and watched he told me also to watch the Stone Phillips interview, and so I watched that and then proceeded to read biographies, and I was able to read the police report and his confession. I found on YouTube some audio of what sounds like a psychologist interviewing him, or even a detective, where he's sort of relaying sort of what he went through, and the way that he's speaking is very candid and very normal. You know, again, it was so jaw-dropping that it all really happened, that it felt important to be respectful to the victims, to the victims' families, to try to tell the story as authentically as we could. And, you know, you need to have certain plot points because he did do these things, but you don't need to embellish them. You know, we get it. You know, we don't need to see it over and over again. Honestly, I was very scared about all of the things that he did, and diving into that and trying to commit to that was absolutely going to be one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, because I wanted it to be very authentic. But in order to do that, I was going to have to go to really dark places and stay there for an extended period of time. I have to say that the crew was instrumental in keeping me on the guardrails. I cannot thank them enough, and I could not have done any of this role without them. Specifically Sarah, our focus puller, who was just such a breath of fresh air and light, you know, when we were filming some of these horrific scenes. Jason, our DP, who sort of kept reminding me of sort of why we were doing it. It was easy, you know, showing up there every day, telling the story of Jeffrey Dahmer. To get lost in that, it was a challenge to try to have this person who seemingly was so normal, but underneath all of it had this entire world that he was keeping secret from everybody. So, you know, we had one rule going into this from Ryan, that it would never be told from Dahmer's point of view. As an audience, you're not really sympathizing with him, you're not really getting into his plight, you're more sort of watching it, you know, from the outside. It's called the Jeffrey Dahmer story, but it's not just him and his backstory. It's the repercussions, it's the society, it's this how society and our system failed to stop him multiple times because of racism, homophobia. It's just a tragic story that affected everybody, gets their side of the story told. And it's really, the Jeffrey Dahmer story is so much bigger than just him.